So you saw from the opening of the video, I took some pictures at the farmer's market. So that's where I was this morning. So obviously it's Friday and I have something going on with my eye. Like, what's going on here? I'm so sorry. So I'll show you what I got at the farmer's market, and then I had to stop at the grocery store for literally 5 things, and that was it. So here's the hauls. All right, cauliflower, broccoli, sauerkraut, that's a quart-sized container, and then a quart of baby dill pickles, 2 quarts of strawberries coming from Plant City, Florida, which is right up the road from where we used to live, a half a pound of mushrooms, some green grapes, blueberries, and a big old head of green leaf lettuce, celery, and my weakness in life, tomatoes. And then that's it for produce. Now I saw this. This is smoked beef brisket that's sliced. And I asked the lady, I'm like, what do you do with that? She's like, well, you can eat it as is. She said, put it in a crock pot with some gravy, just warm it up and eat it. It's wonderful. I'm like, all right, well, we'll try it. So that's a half a pound of smoked beef brisket. This is a pound of ground pork, 2 bone-in chicken breasts, a dozen jumbo free-range eggs, and I got a hunk of Applewood smoked cheddar cheese and a hunk of Havarti dill cheese. And that's it for market. And I lied, it was 6 things I got at the grocery store. So I picked up my spaghetti that I need, a bag of sweet potato chips, and a bag of Mediterranean vegetable chips, some peanut butter cookies, cocktail sauce, and some Marzetti blue cheese dressing. So now I get the fun job of cutting, washing, and prepping all of this. Oof. veggies are all washed, cut, put in the fridge. Salad spinner's clean. So now I'm gonna start working on dinner. It's like 20 to 2. But I wanted to cook. Where am I pointing the camera? Really, Michelle? I wanted to cook a little bit, so I'm gonna start it now. So I had some, I made roast beef for dinner last Sunday. And I have, let me point the camera down on the beef and not me. So I have beef and some broth left, and I'm gonna make a beef and barley stew with my leftover roast beef. So I'm gonna get out the celery that I just put away, cut up some carrots, cut up the beef. It's gone in this saucepan here. I've already dumped some of the juice out and the fat on the top in there. I'm gonna add some more beef broth to it. Probably some, I'm not quite sure what other vegetables I'm gonna use yet. Probably some green beans. And then about 20 minutes before we eat, I'm gonna throw some barley in. Alright, soup is on the stove. I just turned it on. So I'm going to bring that up to a really slow boil and let those fresh vegetables start to cook. In the meantime, I am going to season it up. So, salt. Some pepper. Some sage, nice earthy seasonings. All right, sage. Sage just clumps in the container. Some thyme. Some onion powder. You could put real onions in this. I don't have a recipe. I'm just throwing stuff together. And I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes. Just gonna let that come to a slow boil. Alright, my soup is up to a boil, so I turned it down to as low as I could put it. I'm gonna add a can of green beans and a can of yellow beans. Alright, little stray bean, come on out. And that's it. The barley, I'm going to add about a half a cup. I have what's left in this box is between a half and 3/4 of a cup. I did measure it out already. And I'll put that in about 20 minutes before we eat. I'm just over here winging it. So I decided, you know, my vegetables right now are carrots, celery, tomatoes, green beans, and yellow beans. I can judge based on the liquid that's in here that I may need a little more liquid because that barley's really going to suck it up. So I've decided I'm also going to add a can of corn, but I'm going to let the juice from the corn in there as well. Again, I'm just a firm believer in that soup. You can turn anything into soup. There's no right or wrong way to make it. You could use some frozen mixed vegetables. You could add some peas, some lima beans, some turnips, some potatoes, whatever you want. But with the barley, I wouldn't add potatoes. But so yeah, I'm going to add that corn. And let's get this boiling here again. It's just about at a boil now. I can hear it rumbling on the bottom of my pan. Yeah, we're starting to bubble around the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and put my barley in. Now again, just you have to keep your eye on it. If it starts to suck up all your broth, then obviously you're going to need to add some more beef broth. So I'll come back and check on this in a few minutes. Oh my gosh, we already ate. It was so good, but it was so stinking hot we were scalding our mouth. So I poured some tomato juice in our bowls with it. And let me tell you, it took the taste over the top. So I'm going to add some tomato juice to this. Oh, it was so good. And then Mike discovered that smoked beef brisket that I bought today. He ended up shredding some of that up in his soup too, and he said that jazzed it up, were his words. So we each had a big bowl with a multi-grain roll. Hey, that rhymed. Now we're gonna walk because we're full. No. Back from the walk. It's cold. My cheeks are cold. My nose is cold. So that's gonna do it. Nothing else to show you today. So thanks for hanging out with me. If you have leftover pot roast or roast beef of any kind, that soup was so quick to put together. It sure beats buying beef bones and cooking them off all day. I mean, that's still a great way to make soup, but again, there's plenty of shortcuts you can take and still get plenty of veggies in your body. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.